Welcome back to the ABC of EDC with me, Rick Flatt, your host through everything, Everyday Carry. Bit of a different one today. Again, we're looking at a watch, and it's this watch. This, my friends, is the Christopher Ward Bel Canto. I seem to say Bel Canto rather than Bel Canto. I don't know why I feel like I have to say it posh. Maybe because it's kind of like, it's quite a different complication to any watch I've ever held. Maybe because this is the boutique edition, only 200 made, so it's quite rare, and it really is something special. So I wanted to kind of get this on the channel and show it to you. These have been covered a lot, but maybe not too many of this boutique edition one, this colorway. So we will quickly flip cameras and have a good look at this and try and get some decent macro of what is a really, really interesting dial and movement function kind of thing, feature. What do you call it? Complication, that's the word I was looking for. Anyway, let's flick around and we'll do the business on the Bel Canto. Yeah, mate, let's do the business. Let's do dimensions first. Case, 41 mil. Good size. Feels every bit 41, but not oversized. 48 mil lug to lug. The case material is grade 5 titanium, the good titanium. Movement, which we'll talk about a lot, I guess, is the feature of this, is a modified Solita movement. Essentially, Christopher Ward took a jump hour movement and adapted it to make it the hour chime movement that we have here in the Bel Canto. That's really making a short story of a long process. 38 hours power reserve, 13 mil thick, which is impressive. It's also got a little bird on the dial, which fills my heart with joy. All this and only 53 grams, which I think is testament to that titanium case. Good choice there. Also, 30 meters water resistance, but like, no. Don't go in the water with this. This is not you go in the water watch. This is not what we're about here. We're not doing that. The most impressive thing, without a doubt, about this watch, other than the movement, which you can't really see the innards of, just the overall effect, is the dial. The case is lovely, well finished, with some polished and some brushing, signed crown, but it's this dial. This dial is the thing. And particularly in this boutique special edition, only 200 made, you have to go into a shop personally and collect this. Beautiful blue, and this rubber strap, I don't know what I'll call it rubber, perfectly matched to that dial color, just perfectly suited. But it's all about the dial. And on the dial, it's all about that little hourly chime. Mate, just the joy of it. Just every time it goes off, you feel it. It's hitting this little steel chime, I guess, in the dial there that takes up the majority of the outer part of the inner dial, if you know what I'm saying. It's operated. You can turn that function on and off with the pusher down at the 4 o'clock, and you see the little beak of the bird move, which is always fun. One of the things I do love about this movement and this dial is just the way they've designed it. As you turn it, you can just see the whole movement there. So you got the little birdie and the chime down there at 6 o'clock. Up at the 12, you've got, which is what the actual clock is, where you're actually going to tell time. And let's not forget, this is a watch. We are trying to tell the time. And I would say that's where actually I struggled with this watch. I loved looking down and seeing it on my wrist. I love the case design. I love the case back. It feels like a quality item for just 3,000, which is crazy, 3,000, I guess. But, it's cheap for what it is. But I did have a hard time telling the time, and I know that feels a little bit like, maybe not silly, but a little bit begrudgingly, really, because it's not really about that. I messaged my friend whose watch this is, and I said, I think I've worked this out. I've worked out what the Bel Canto is all about. It's the cheap man's Jacob & Co. Now, if you know Jacob & Co, they make these really garish, overly complicated, overly designed, Conor McGregor kind of wears them, like rappers wear them, you know what I mean? Just ridiculous watches. But there's a show about them. But they're maybe a bit too, is ostentatious the word? They're a bit too showy. Whereas this, it's got a showiness, but there's a real sleekness to it. at that 41mm case, that 13mm thick, it goes, it's understated. But when you see it, every time you personally look down when you know you got it on, it's just a joy. It's just a joy. If you forget and you're reminded by that chime each hour, it's exciting. If you remember just in time, you patiently wait, and it's a constant reward to get that little chime. It's quite addictive. It's quite unlike any other feature of a watch I've got. You know, you've got a chronograph, you use it every now and then. You've got a dive time bezel, you use that. But this is kind of fairly useless because it's not really loud enough to kind of like break through the noise of a crowd. But there's a real simple joy in that chime, and in knowing the hours of work that went into this. Now, I don't know enough about watches, and I'm not the channel you come to for in-depth horological detail. But I know that Christopher Ward have said that they actually, if they knew how much it would cost and what a rigmarole it would be to design and manufacture and produce this watch, they would never have started. And you can tell that. You can tell it's a labour of love. And I don't know how much it took to get all these elements in place. The titanium case, that's modified ciliate movement, the thickness, the whole design, the dial layout. I don't know how difficult it was, but my understanding, it was very difficult, very costly, particularly when they're selling this at just over 3,000, which is a crazy price. So what do I think about this watch? What's my honest opinion of this watch? I really like it. I really like it. It's a pointless watch. It's not a watch for me. My friend has it. He's a guy, a business guy. He'll wear it. It'll be a conversation piece. But for me, it's not for me. But I really appreciate what it is. I would never own a Rolls Royce. I would never own, some really intricate watch like this. It's not really my bag, but I really, really love that Christopher Ward did this, and I really love that people can attain a watch of this level and this kind of complication for the price it is. So yeah, Christopher Ward Bel Canto, like, well done, Christopher Ward, man. This and the 12, some other things you've been doing, we like what you're doing. And it's good to see this from a British watchmaker, stretching their legs a little bit and showing what they can do. So yeah, well done. This has been the ABC of EDC, and this has been the Christopher Ward Bel Canto Boutique edition. Till next time, laters.